more. Thursday, December 12th, an exciting outing for residents to the Freshwater Lake. Friday, December 13th, Donation Day. A chance to contribute to the infirmary's mission. Cash, groceries, clothes, and provisions will be accepted. Donate and receive a blessing. We invite the entire Nature Wild to join us in celebrating our residents and making this week a memorable one. Be part of the Dominica Infirmary Residents Awareness Week, December 8th to December 30th, 2024, as we come together in support and appreciation. To God be the glory. Great things He has done. May God richly bless you. I'm gonna sing of the goodness.
Dominica, good afternoon to you. And welcome, welcome, welcome. Tongue lashing from the Dominica Bar Association to Mr. Raven Blackmore for comments he made as it relates to bail for Jonathan Herrera. We're going to try to put things in perspective because before we hear that statement from the Dominica Bar Association, well, at least in this instant, they have not remained silent. The Dominica Bar Association speaking out. According to the Dominica Bar, this type of public criticism by a minister of government over the judicial decision unnecessarily casts a shadow over the independence of the judiciary and risk eroding public confidence in our legal system. We'll hear more. But let's go back to the bail conditions set by the judge for Mr. Herrera. Listen and listen well.
Let me begin by making it fundamental.
Not this one.
On November 26, 2024, Dominicans expressed anger and disbelief as murder-accused Jonathan Herrera was granted access to bail of $1 million as the claimant applied for bail in order to travel overseas for medical reasons. On December 5, 2023, the claimant, Mr. Jonathan Herrera, was jointly charged with Robert Thomas Snyder Jr. for 2 counts of murder. The claimant was remanded. to the state prison at Stock Farm. Bail in the Commonwealth of Dominica is governed by the Bail Act number 20 of 2020. The claimant relied on sections 4, subsection 3, 4, subsection 4, 7, subsection 1, and 7, subsection 2 of the Act. The following are the conditions of bail as granted to murder-accused Jonathan Lehrer by the court yesterday, November 26, 2024. It is hereby ordered that bail is offered to the applicant, Jonathan Lehrer, in the sum of $1 million Eastern Caribbean currency, with one surety in the like sum of $1 million. The conditions of the bail are: 1. The surety, who is to be approved by the registrar of the High Court, must be a family member or a business associate or someone of similar stature who, in the opinion of the registrar, has significant influence in relation to the applicant and is capable of ensuring that the applicant abides by the conditions of his bail. 2. The applicant must not communicate directly or indirectly, including via social media or through a third party, with any witness about this case. 3. The applicant must attend court on the 10th of December 2024 and all adjourned dates until the conclusion of the matter. 4. The applicant may be permitted to travel out of the Commonwealth of Dominica for medical purposes, but must secure the approval of a judge of the High Court and provide details as to the dates of travel, including date of return, proposed address while overseas, and the medical facility he intends to visit. 5. The applicant would have to provide proof to the registrar that he has revoked his American citizenship prior to being allowed to travel out of the Commonwealth of Dominica. 6. The applicant must provide a sworn undertaking that he would not seek to reactivate his American citizenship while on bail. 7. The applicant shall file, if necessary, under seal, an updated medical report upon any travel overseas. 8. The applicant must commit to returning to the Commonwealth of Dominica upon conclusion of any medical procedure and to not travel to and remain in any third country, that is, any country other than that to which approval was given. 9. The applicant shall provide a solemn guarantee to pay for any and all expenses that may be incurred by the state in seeking to have him returned to Dominica in the event that he does not do so voluntarily and immediately after his medical procedures. 10. The applicant shall provide an irrevocable consent to be extradited. Such an undertaking would indicate that he would not contest extradition should it become necessary to seek his extradition. 11. The applicant undertakes not to breach the laws of the United States of America or any country to which he travels for medical attention while he is within such other countries' borders. 12. The applicant, prior to any overseas travel, shall consent to having a tracking device fitted to his body. 13. The applicant, upon his return to Dominica, shall reside at Bois Cotlet Estate and not leave the Commonwealth of Dominica without first getting the approval of a judge of the High Court. 14. The applicant, upon his return to Dominica, must report to Grand Bay Police Station once a week on Mondays to sign in, sometimes between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. 15. If the applicant breaches any condition of his bail, or if he is charged with any offense anywhere which has a prescribed penalty of at least 2 years imprisonment, then his recognizance becomes liable to be forfeited and his bail may be revoked. Copies of the bail order are to be served on the Chief of Police, the Chief Immigration Officer, the Superintendent of Prisons, the Clerk of the Magistrates Court, and the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions.
And the Security Minister's response was very quick. Mr. Irwin Blackmore.
Let me begin by making it fundamentally clear that the state takes this bail application for Jonathan Lehrer, one of the accused of the double murder of Dominic Marchand and Daniel Joseph Langlois, very seriously, and is totally opposed to the granting of bail. While I fully appreciate the independence of the court and embrace the principle that within our society, one is presumed innocent until proven guilty, however, there is consensus within society that certain crimes, because of the brutality involved, are very serious and therefore must be dealt with in the most serious manner by the court. The public interest, therefore, is the transcending issue and must be seen to be one preserved and protected by the court at all times. One of the things your government has done over the years is to enact a bail act to seek to bring clarity as to how and when bail should be granted by the court. And in instances where bail should not be granted, one, the seriousness of the crime. Two, if the accused person is a flight risk. And thirdly, the public interest. The state, from the onset, has taken this case very seriously. The police was quick and professional in its response, and that has been manifested throughout the investigations. The state has retained the services of one of the best senior counselors in the area of criminal law from the region to assist with the prosecution of that matter. The state will continue to provide all the resources needed to ensure this matter is properly prosecuted and justice is not only seen to be done, but will be done.
We're just following the steps, how it happened last week. Right after, on the heels of Mr. Blackmore's statements rebail, we had Mr. Joshua Francis commenting, saying that Mr. Blackmore was in the wrong.
The world knows that this matter at hand is a very high-profile matter, an ultra-high-profile matter, if I would put it so. And the reason why it is a high-profile matter is because we are looking at three jurisdictions in the matter. Number one, the victims or the deceased are Canadians or were Canadians. The alleged offenders are Americans. And of course, our own jurisdiction, and possibly from allegations going around that one of the accused is a Dominican by economic citizenship. So, of course, the United States of America is watching to see how the Commonwealth of Dominica deals with its subject in respect to administration of justice. And also, Canada is looking at the matter to see how our judicial system operates, the administration of justice. And therefore, at an executive level, ministers and representatives of the government supposed to keep in mind that comments must not only appear not to be questioning the independence of the judiciary or questioning the impartiality of the High Court judge, given that we have a small jurisdiction and one High Court judge adjudicating over criminal matters, but also the issue of foreign relations, diplomatic relationships. Matt, if you're following the news, you would note that there is a dispute between Canada and India over some issues. So the statements were made, etc. So when we contextualize everything in respect to that case, we would expect the minister to be very prudent in his utterances. A matter of fact, I'm being told, and I don't know how true that is, that the minister did not get the authority of the prime minister to make the comment which he made. And it is no credit or discredit to the prime minister of Dominica, but oftentimes you will hear the prime minister saying, well, the judiciary is independent. I have no comment. Let the court decide. Let the court determine. But one would understand why the government of Dominica and its authorities would be hasty in making certain comments, because of course the government wants to look like it is doing its work as far as the police department is concerned. I think it would have been more appropriate for the Minister of Justice to be concerned about the utterances that the High Court judge made in his deliberations in respect to the bail application that we are discussing. And for those who have a copy of the decision or the judgment given by the judge, you can turn to page 42. Page 42. Oh, sorry, paragraph 42, my bad. Paragraph 42. And the judge says, and quote, the investigator admitted that they failed to meet the requirements of disclosure, failed to comply with the order of the court, and the claimant was, as a result, languishing in prison as his medical conditions deteriorated. The investigating officer, after admitting the claimant's argument, stated in paragraphs 8 and 9 of the claimant's affidavit, said that he, however, wishes to state further that non-compliance of the order that's in open court was in no way out of disrespect to the court and the proceedings in the court, but as a result of the prosecution not having the necessary documents in its possession to disclose and prepare the documentary exhibit bundle. Now, I want the public to listen to this. This was due to the DNA reports and ballistic reports were coming from outside the jurisdiction of Dominica, as the resources to do forensics and ballistic testing. However, the prosecution nonetheless has disclosed everything in its possession. Now, Matt, I read that line because you would have taken note. Due to the DNA reports and ballistics reports were coming from outside the jurisdiction of Dominica.
So the police, in a sense, have not done their work.
Well, the police is doing its work, but the police hands are tied. The police continue to be affected by limited resources within its stations in Dominica, within its investigation department. And I think that's where the minister should focus on policy decisions. Because sometimes we blame the police. We say the police don't investigate properly, but it is evident based on the judgment given by the court in this matter, there's an admission that the police has to seek reports from abroad, because we do not have those resources. We're in 2024. The Commonwealth of Dominica Police Department continues to be absent of equipment for DNA testing, forensic testing. Now, in addition to that, the minister in question did not say that his government made an effort to get assistance from our neighbors as far as the investigation and gathering of evidence is concerned. And Matt, again, the judge commented on that, and that is one of the reasons why the judge granted.
But I have known, Mr. Francis, in other cases they requested help from abroad.
Well, actually, there is a former police officer, Mr. Matthew, who was accused of murder during an investigation. As we speak, his matter is pending. I am subject to correction, but I recall that government authorities, much of the minister spoke about obtaining assistance from abroad to investigate the matter. And given the nature of the matter which we are dealing with right now, that could have diplomatic ramifications and could affect our tourism One would have thought that the government of Dominica would have sought assistance to aid the police in Dominica, but we did not hear anything about that. As a matter of fact, there are statements in the judgment which speak to the evidence, because at a bail hearing, the judge considers evidence at a prima facie level, a basic level. We may not have gone in details, although some lawyers are of the view that the judge took into consideration and commented too much on evidence. But it's a normal practice during bail application for the court to take into consideration the evidential basis on which the accused is brought before his court. And in so doing, the judge had concerns about the evidence that was brought forward to prosecute the defendant. And more so, that defendant, there were discussions about eyewitnesses and discussions about the forensic evidence, about identification theories, and the judge appeared not to be satisfied with the work of the police. And by no means and measure, this reflects any incompetence on the investigators. Rather, it reflects the absence of resources, the neglect of the police department, the politicization of the police department, and more than ever, we need to assist the police. We need to equip the police stations. We need to train officers. We need to provide the basic supplies. So when we have situations like that, not only for high-profile matters, but for every criminal matter, that the police will have the necessary resources to gather information, gather evidence to prosecute. Because Mark, on your program, when I was there and we discussed the matter, I told you that the quality of evidence is very, very important. It's very, very important.
But let me ask you, because I'm being told that the state is maybe thinking of appealing this bail. What is there precedent for that?
Yeah, well, no, there isn't, Mark. Our Bail Act, Section 21, provides for the prosecution to appeal to the High Court where bail has been granted to a defendant or accused, basically asking the court to rescind or to reverse the decision of the magistrate. However, the Bail Act does not speak to an appeal where a High Court grants bail and for the prosecution or the Director of Public Prosecution to appeal the matter at the Eastern Caribbean level. But it has not been done. But let's look at the big picture. That is what you call legal engineering. Maybe the state could try. Maybe the DPP could try and hear what the court has to say. But I'm sure that the DPP's office and the AG's office may be in discussions to consider other applications in respect to that matter.
With all the public pressure, can the judge himself change his mind when the matter goes back to court?
Well, the judge has made a decision. What can happen is both parties are at liberty, meaning the claimant, applicant, and the defendant, respondent, to go before the judge to make an application for an amendment of the bail conditions. Bail has already been granted. So it's a question of whether the claimant, as we know, the accused, can meet the conditions which were given to him. If he can satisfy the conditions which need to be satisfied prior to granting him his liberty, then, of course, he would walk home until determination of the matter. But I urge the public to get the judgment, to read it up. Maybe in a subsequent program, we can analyze the judgment at a greater extent. But I just want to leave by saying, Matt, if you look at paragraph 5 of the judgment, it says here, the order of the 18th of April 2024 provided case management directions for the timely disposition of the case. The matter against the claimant and his co-accused for the murder of Daniel Joseph Langley and Dominic Marchand was to be available for trial during the term of the High Court, which commenced in September 2024. So in other words, the judge had given an order on 18th of April 2024 for disclosure of statements, documents, reports, and expected that matter to have been captured in the assizes which just ended, meaning that that matter ought to have been heard the accused ought to have been committed already. And the judge commented on that because the claimants argued that the respondent, the state, breached the court order. So that was the gist of the matter before the judge. The judge had to determine whether bail ought to be granted to the accused based on the circumstances of the case.
Well,
But
Josh,
we don't have the time to really go in details, man.
and I'm sure that we will expound on this. But I'm hearing there from the public that it seems that Mr. Blackmore is in a concert. So these statements from Mr. Blackmore, people don't really believe what they're seeing. It may be a game. That's the opinion of many out there.
Well, yes, and you cannot fault the public because, again, you have to look at the nature of the matter. The accused who made this bail application is a passport vendor, and people are asking questions. Is that particular person known to be breaking bread with ministers of government? And if that's the case, are they personal friends? And if they are personal friends, did he provide gifts, including financial gifts, to members of the government? And if that is the case, then maybe the government does not want to prosecute him. People are making those remarks. Some of them are baseless. There's no evidence to corroborate any of the suspicions. It may be reasonable, it may be unreasonable.
So
The Minister of Justice has to be very careful and tactful in making his statements.
I see he's been trying to call my cell phone. I'll try to give him a call back. Maybe he has the response. So, Joshua, we're going to expound on this discussion going forward. But there's a lot happening as we speak, and we will talk sometime in the near future. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you. I just saw the Minister of Security trying to reach my phone. All right, Dominique. Yes, and we spoke to him because he did not like the comments. He said somebody told him Mr. Joshua was opposing. I'm just trying to, roll it out in a chronological order so you get a better sense of what has been going on. So that very day, a few minutes later, we spoke to Mr. Blackmore, who seemed very annoyed that Mr. Joshua was opposing what he did with the big statement as it relates to bail. Mr. Blackmore spoke to me on that very day last Wednesday.
Was a lawyer, a practicing lawyer, and making reference to some material facts that ought to be discussed over the actual trial, the facts and evidence have to be litigated before a judge and jury. And a bail hearing is not an instance where the merit or the evidence concerning a particular charge for which has been preferred against an accused or defendant ought to be ventilated or litigated. He made reference to disclosure. The automatic disclosure is continuous. And I want to take this opportunity to really commend the police smart with the tremendous work that they have done so far. DPP, as you know, the government has retained the services of one of the best criminal defense lawyers in the region, in an island, and the Minister of National Security and Legal Affairs has a responsibility to the right department. And of course, and we have to be careful, as I've said in my statement, and of course the statement has been endorsed by the Prime Minister, in my statement, that the court is independent. That having been said, the court has a responsibility to society and has a responsibility to preserve the public interest and to ensure that it is protected at all times. So the statement was not intended to encroach on such independence that I just articulated. But of course, one has to be very careful going forward. And what I've seen before, and I've heard as this case, I've been in the public domain for a while, is an attempt to somehow, quite partly, mad, to link the politician to that matter. And if to say that somehow, if nothing happens, we know that was going to happen, and because one of the accused is linked to people in high places. This is very unfortunate. This government has no actually interference in this matter. The government doesn't interfere with the court, but the Minister for Legal Affairs has a responsibility to the broader public. And I am saying that Mr. Francis made some statement, which is totally false and misleading. I'm not sure whether it is deliberately. But it's unfortunate that someone would come to speak about a matter that is so important without having an understanding of the issues and of the fact. To say that the police is lacking in resources and so far as this matter is concerned is fundamentally false. And I'm sure somebody has no.
But let me intervene here, because Mr. Francis did say that our police needs more in terms of what to investigate the case further, like forensics and things. We're lacking here in Dominica. Don't you think that your office could have allowed national or maybe international persons to help and guide you?
Listen to me, first of all, Mark. Let me just say again for emphasis.
Okay.
What Mr. Francis has said is not correct. It is fundamentally wrong, insofar as this matter is concerned. As you have heard me said before, that the state has been involving, from a policy standpoint, ensure that all resources are provided. The police have been working with foreign experts on every level concerning that matter. I cannot discuss the merit as far as every collected is concerned.
So you're giving the police the necessary resources that they need to investigate this matter. That's your point, yes?
And I'm saying it is totally reckless for a practicing lawyer to come on a radio station and to actually try to create a sameness on an application for bail. I think to say it is the same, like you have a live hearing before the court. And he made a reference to the date for the presentation of the bangles, because it's a PI, okay? It's a paper committal, it's a paper committal matter where both parties agree on the evidence. And that is done to try to you have almost an automatic transmission of that matter to the Supreme Court. And from my understanding, all parties have been served on only material issues relating to the evidence. And then, as he would know as a lawyer, that disclosure is a continual process. But
I think Mr. Joshua, to all respect there, sir, was making reference to what the judge said in that matter.
No. Listen to me, please.
Yes.
He was making reference. Somebody called me. I listened to him. That the police lack the resources. Okay.
Based on what the judge said in that matter.
No, and he ought to know, Mark, that a bail hearing is not a trial. You get my point? It's not a trial. What is important is the magnitude and the gravity of the crime for which the person has been charged. Okay? And to look at the application on its merit. Do you get my point? The second to want to litigate the evidence as if it is a trial.
But again, Mr. Blackmore, he was reading from the judgment of the judge himself.
No, what I'm saying, Mark.
Yes.
I do not want to comment on the judgment itself in terms of the detail.
But that's what he was reading from.
He, as a practicing lawyer, ought to be able to discern. Okay? The appropriate comments to be made in a bail hearing as opposed to a trial. And then he should be able to discern what he as a lawyer ought not to say in relation to a bail application. That's what I'm trying to say. It's up to him with a decision.
So you don't think he has an opinion, Mr. Blackmore? You don't think he has an opinion as well?
No, I will tell you something.
Yes, tell me.
All right? There's a distinction between an opinion and a statement of fact. I'm not going to agree with you, Mark, that 2 + 2 = 4. This is a factual statement. The mere fact that you express an opinion doesn't mean it's a factual statement.
So again, I just want to ask for the record's sake, did you receive help from abroad? Did you receive help from abroad in investigating this matter?
As I've said before, let me just say, the state has involved every player within and outside of Dominica in the analyzing of evidence collected and in support to the police at our level. And that's what I have to say about that.
So you stand by your opinion, as you said, the statement you made yesterday on national radio, that the judge may have erred in terms of the bill that was presented there a couple of days ago.
I'm not there to speak about the judge. I'm here to speak about a fundamental issue that the state is opposed to the granting of bail to the accused. I know what I know. And I heard him make reference on Mr. Davis about medical condition and attention. He doesn't know the facts about that. It's his statement of opinion. Okay, then let's leave that there. And I'm not going to say what direction the state is going to proceed on so far as the matter is concerned. But it's a matter of serious concern to the state.
But I'm hearing that you guys, meaning the government, may be thinking of appealing this matter there in the appeals court, the OECS appeals court. Is that factual?
What I can say to you, I'm not going to say to you now. That is left to the senior counsel and the DPP. And so, what is the next position in reference to that judgment we should be able? What I can say, and my role there is to educate the public. Now, within the bail act, if somebody were to be bailed at the magistrate court level, it can be appealed. But the law as it's written right now does not provide for an appeal when a decision of bail is actually given at the Supreme Court level. Okay, that's all I have to say. So there's merit in looking at the bail act and to have it amended. Those are some of the issues that we have to talk about as he's a lawyer, and instead of coming there, I want to question the minister who has the right to speak on those issues. Right? And he represents his client, but I represent the people of Dominica, and I have a right, and the government have a right to speak on behalf of the public interest. We don't actually.
There's a lot of criticism from the public, Mr. Blackmore. I mean, you can comment as you go that this is like a game. You guys are playing a game. Somebody referred to it as a concert that's going on. But when you're saying this is serious matter, this is a serious matter.
Let me do something. I'm not people who are judgmental. All right? When they have a cup, you have a cup, you give them the cup, they can only put in the cup what they have. These are folks who judge people on their own standard. I've never been known to be somebody involved in concert or being clear. I'm not the kind of person. If somebody wants to assign that to me, that's the person's business, because the person is judging me on their own standard. You get my point? And I heard him in reference about I said written by my own hands, as to say that I was stating my opinion without, of course, the entire cabinet. The entire government is concerned about that matter. I've been giving me the support, giving the police the support to ensure that we have all the resources to ensure not only that matter, every matter, and the state has to ensure that all the requisite resources are indeed provided. And you made reference to I saying that written by my hand. It was in response to somebody who said that I wouldn't write what something gave me. Okay. So I believe when we make a statement, we must qualify the statement. And that's one of the reasons why I'm calling.
So it appears Mr. Blackmore did have his colleagues' support before making that statement. We've heard from nobody else thus far. So he must have had his cabinet colleagues' support before making that statement based on his own statement there. So the Dominica Bar Association waited a few days. And of course, their statement today is in support of Mr. Joshua Francis' comments earlier that Mr. Blackmore should not have made his comments after the judge's decision. Let me again allow you to listen, and then you'll followed by the statement today from the Dominica Bar Association. Listen again to Mr. Blackmore. Listen again.
Let me begin by making it fundamentally clear that the state takes this bail application for Jonathan Lehrer, one of the accused of the double murder of Dominic Marchand and Daniel Joseph Langlois, very seriously, and is totally opposed to the granting of bail. While I fully appreciate the independence of the court and embrace the principle that within our society, one is presumed innocent until proven guilty, however, there is consensus within society that certain crimes, because of the brutality involved, are very serious and therefore must be dealt with in the most serious manner by the court. The public interest, therefore, is the transcending issue and must be seen to be one preserved and protected by the court at all times. One of the things your government has done over the years is to enact a bail act to seek to bring clarity as to how and when bail should be granted by the court. And in instances where bail should not be granted: 1, the seriousness of the crime; 2, if the accused person is a flight risk; and thirdly, the public interest. The state, from the onset, has taken this case very seriously. The police was quick and professional in its response, and that has been manifested throughout the investigations. The state has retained the services of one of the best senior counsels in the area of criminal law from the region to assist with the prosecution of that matter. The state will continue to provide all the resources needed to ensure this matter is properly prosecuted and justice is not only seen to be done, but will be done.
As a lawyer, a practicing lawyer, and making reference to some natural.
Let's go back to that statement from the Dominica Bar Association issued today, read by Q95's Richie. Listen and listen well.
In a statement sent to the media from the Dominica Bar Association on December 2nd, 2024, reads: The Dominica Bar Association reaffirms its commitment to the principles of judicial independence and the rule of law. The DBA exclaims that recent remarks by the Minister of National Security and Legal Affairs regarding the court's approach to the granting of bail to Mr. Jonathan Lehrer is concerning and unfortunate. The minister's remarks conveyed the impression that the court may have not taken the matter with the utmost seriousness or considered the relevant provisions of the Bail Act or other relevant law. While it is not our role to determine or relay to the public whether the court was right or wrong in its final determination, it must be stated that in this case, specific references to the Bail Act and several cases precedents were made by the judge throughout his 24-page judgment, which is publicly available on the website of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court. The judiciary's role is not to appease public sentiment, which is to be differentiated from public interest as defined in the law, but to impartially interpret and apply the law. The DBA calls upon all public officials to uphold the integrity of the legal system by refraining from statements that may be perceived as an attempt to influence or challenge judicial independence. This is essential to maintaining a just and democratic society.
A statement there from the Dominica Bar Association. Finally, they have broken their silence, huh? Another senior lawyer is stating here in a statement, Matt, did I hear Mr. Blackmore state that the state objects to bail? The minister is simply out of order. The person who represents the state in criminal matters is the DPP and in civil is the AG. If anyone has to address the issue of objection to bail of the state is the DPP and not the minister. Here it appears that the DPP may have agreed to bail application. Hence, the minister's comment is premature, out of order, and is tending to cast aspersions on the judiciary for apparently political reasons. The executive arms of the state must remain separate from the judiciary and judicial officers and must not appear in any way to infringe, interfere, or usurp the functionals or the function of judicial officers of the court, or the constitutionality appointed persons or body whose functions are distinct and separate from the executive, which is cabinet. So, Mr. Blackmore, the bar, I'm hoping that you may call this afternoon, is totally opposed to this comments as it relates to bail that you made sometime last week. In other words, they're saying you're out of place. That's not for you. That's not for you to do. On the telephone, good afternoon to you, yes?
Hi, good afternoon, Matt.
Good afternoon to you.
Matt, I'm not sure why we have Mr. Blackmore, or we are not agreeing with him when we were all in appalled at that man got bail. So Mr. Blackmore is within his right. The man should not have gotten bail under no condition, because that is what we were saying. Everybody that called to 95 was opposing to bail. So why now are we crucifying?
But given is the problem, ma'am, the problem is he is in a strange position. But he as an officer, a minister, should not comment. This is what the Dominica Bar Association is saying. Yes?
We were asking him to comment. We were calling on Mr. Blackmore. What are you saying? Oppose the bail.
Who's the we you're saying? Who's the we you're talking about?
A lot of our callers.
No, I'm saying about who's the we, because I haven't heard any people. I mean, and that's the opinion. But I'm saying, given his position as the minister, he should not make that comment. That's what people are saying. That's the argument. Yes, people are opposing to bail, but Mr. Blackmore as the minister, that's the argument here, okay? Out of place. Hello, talk to me on the telephone, yes?
Good afternoon to you, Matt, and your many listeners. Ronald Charles here.
Hey, good.
And Matt, I want to endorse the sentiment and or the release from the Dominica Bar Association. And I think it is fundamental that, the ministers of government understand their role, their functionality, and must not interfere in things that they don't have to interfere in. For example, you see, there is.
But I've always heard, give credit to him. I've always heard the Prime Minister saying he will not interfere in issues of law. He said it many times.
Say that again. Sorry, Matt.
I said I've always heard the Prime Minister saying he will not interfere. That's why I'm surprised he will not interfere with matters of law, judicial matters.
Right. Well, the Prime Minister said that according to you, he doesn't interfere. But Raymond Blackmore just said on radio he got the endorsement of the cabinet ministers. Am I not? Isn't
Well,
what
you're right. You're right. You're right. Maybe.
Yeah. So
Yes.
one could see there has been a trend in a collective goal of the ministers of government in cabinet meeting and taking decisions that they're not supposed to interfere with. And it's a very good point when one has to look at the public sentiment versus the public interest. And I know, and one could easily conclude the public sentiment that are going on now is Raymond Blackmore and his cabinet ministers trying to put a political interference to ensure that people see, well, okay, he said that there should not be bail, but there should not be bail after the fact. There should not be bail after a judiciary, the judge put his judgment out there. Why didn't it come out long before that? I didn't get that. And therefore, we have to look at this, and there is a thin line that has to be drawn when the Bail Act speaks to public interest. Public interest, for example, there is a high gun violation going on now, and ammunition and possession of gun. So the court will take certain actions to ensure that it curbs such offenses that may occur from time to time, because society is basically getting out of hand as it relates to gun-related incidences. So one can see from Mr. Blackmore's own words that they seems to come together to take decisions to interfere with the court, and therefore, what Mr. Francis said is and Mr. Blackmore was trying to make it look like. But of course, you can comment on issues that are touches and concerning the bill. It wasn't a trial. Yes, it was a trial, but Joshua never made comments that touch and interfere with the issues of trial, or the Bar Association didn't talk about that. The Bar Association said it is concerning. It is concerning and worrying when the independence of the judiciary is getting tampered with, and therefore, that is the reason why the Dominican people must understand that this incumbent government does not know their right foot from their left foot, and what they should be doing and what they should be interfering with. What they should be doing is to ensure the necessary conduits and facilities are made available to the police, are made available to the prisons, are made available to the courts, so that the processes are well oiled, and therefore persons could see and observe that they are doing the best that they can in their capacity to ensure equal rights and justice. The minister seems to only want to comment on one or two issues. There are many other issues as it relates to judicial things that he should stay away from. All right? So, Matt, I just wanted to put this on the record that the Bar Association did a good thing to release this statement, and I want to endorse them, and I want to endorse the Bar Association sentiment as it relates to what the minister said.
Thank you, Ronald Charles. The same Ronald Charles. Let's listen to that day when, of course, bail was granted to the Mr. Jonathan Herrera. He has not met the bail conditions just yet, so he's still locked up. But we'll see what happens in the next few days. Soufriere residents expressing themselves there on that day. We'll come back to that in a minute. Hello, talk to me on the telephone. Phone calls coming in. Yeah.
Good afternoon, Matt.
Good afternoon to you, sir.
Matt, I see a few contradictions, It was the same Blackmore that came out and said we should not even discuss the case. You remember that? You have that tape, Matt? The first statement he made early in the game, long before this bail application, he said that we should not discuss the case. That's what he said. Now he's discussing the case and even disagreeing. That's why I say it's a concert. Mr. Blackmore, it's a good concert. And that concert will help you stay out of trouble because of the way you wrote the script. You will be able to refer to your script and said, I said this and I said that. I wasn't in agreement with the bail application or the bail, granting of the bail. So it is a script, Matt. And if you think that I'm referring to myself, Emma, as Blessings would say, if you think I am going to lose my CBI agent in jail, you have something else coming. You have something else coming for you if you think that my CBI agent is going to rot in jail. You have something else coming. Why? Because I run things in Dominica. I am the world boss. You hear all those statements, Matt, how they ring true?
Yep.
Yeah, I am the world boss. I run things in Dominica, not the law, not the judiciary. I run things in Dominica. And how I do it, you don't know. But we suspect that, money talks and bullshit walks. Good afternoon.
Now we finish. A lot of people from Sufria pack all you know gets to travel because we finish.
Yes, finish.
Another one that go into thing. You know me, I don't live in Dominica first of all. But you see this, it is my concern. I live in Sufria and I know what Jonathan had done already to the people. Right? You see, if today they grant Jonathan bail or if he get bail, that's gonna be chaos in Sufria. I promise you, I'm telling you from the bottom of my heart.
I just want to give him bail $1 million.
Man, I can't even talk because this is something personally. I've been through this struggle with Jonathan. No, this is chaos in Sufria. That's gonna be chaos in Sufria, I'm telling you. If it from Sufria, then need to demonstrate. Mark it's not gonna be. We finish in Sufria. We finish in Sufria. Jonathan got bail. Al Capone could not get bail. What is it in Dominica? People from Dominica get out in a large number and we need to demonstrate who are we right now? What are we right now? Hello. And I don't care. I don't have a European passport. I don't have a problem. But you see, Dominica, this is my country. And you see what Jonathan have done to us in Sufria? I can tell you definitively, this will not pass so. It might not be like in Haiti or some other places in Jamaica, but you see, our people, it is time for us to stand up. It is time for us to see what is going on and what is not right. This is not about a politics business, This is about what we've been through with Jonathan. I can't understand somebody like that had killed 2 people. Let me tell you something. It was not any ordinary sort of people. They were my people, my personal friend. Dominican Jonathan been in Dominica for more than 30 years. And then people are my people. You hear me? And I'm probably emotional today because that's not fair. And that's not right. But the God I serve, he never leave me, never forsake me.
I was Sufria resident in Southside that day when Mr. Jonathan Lerere was given bail. And of course, you heard the list, conditions of bail. He was taken back to the prison until he meets the set conditions, 15 conditions. All right, Dominic, it's 2:06 in the afternoon, 2:06. Somebody reads, a comment from somebody reads, the Dominica Bar Association is quite wanting in many instances. How come suddenly they're commenting on this now? In my opinion, they have no standing hypocrisy at its best with the Bar Association. What they are supposed to comment on, they're very silent. I'm in total agreement with the minister. They are full of crap. I know what I'm talking about. They're dead wrong. So I'm supporting the minister. You know how I feel about the minister. So if I'm telling you that, I'm in agreement with him. That should tell you something. What the minister said had nothing to do with judicial independence, period. This bar association is talking BS. Another reaction. Let's take a few phone calls and move forward here. 208, talk to me.
Matt, good afternoon. What's up now?
All right, man, how you doing?
Great. You know, it's not the first murder in Dominica. I certainly empathize and sympathize with anyone who has been suffered, murder and that kind of violence in Dominica. And I mean, I can understand the concern of people about bail and listening to the Bar Association, everything. But, my observation, Matt, is this, and I'll say this. There have been so many murders of children, of mothers in Dominica, and poor people, and murders of innocent people in Dominica. We have had bail granted to several other people who have been accused of murder in Dominica. Some of these murders have not even come to trial, okay? And there are still people who are rotting on the ground, whose souls and spirits are crying out for justice. And so many mothers in Dominica who are living and grieving the death of their loved ones and family members and brothers and sisters, etc. And to date, we know that there must be well over 20, 30 murders in Dominica that have not been tried in the courts. And you have some people accused of murder running around. My question is, though, mainly to the Bar Association. And someone alluded to it just in your last comment, Somebody maybe was too afraid to say it or maybe cannot get you. Why is the Bar Association so selective when it comes to speaking out on matters of justice in Dominica? Why are they so numb and deaf and blind and you could say mumu about so many other unjust issues and situations of injustice happening in Dominica? It's very obvious that it's only when it comes to situations that affect them they want to issue statements. As the Bar Association, is that?
No, go ahead. I'm listening. Go ahead.
As the Bar Association, I think they need to be more astute and they need to be called upon to respond more vigorously, more readily, and more openly to situations regarding the thing about formerly with children in Dominica. And to ensure that we have a proper justice system. They are very quiet about the inefficiency of the police force in investigating crimes. They are very, dormant about the delay of so many cases that are being called the postponement of cases in Dominica and the lack of justice and that happens in Dominica. And now all of a sudden they want to speak. The question I have to ask, are the lives of white people, rich people, more important than the lives of poor Malawi people in Dominica? All life is life, and where is the Minister of National Security to speak on all the other insecure, crime-ridden legal issues in Dominica? Where is he? Where is he to speak out on situations where the court is found wanting, the office of the DPP is found wanting, the police force is found wanting? Where is he to speak? He has been coming, this is his third comment on calling you. There are many other issues about safety and security and legal issues in Dominica and justice issues, which he can speak on as the Minister of National Security to assure and guarantee Dominicans that the country is safe and the justice system is fair. He's not saying anything. Same thing for the Bar Association. So while I can apologize or sympathize with anyone who has lost loved ones and they need the cry for justice, justice is for everybody. Rich people, white people, poor Malawi children, ghetto children as well, and the poor mothers of Dominica who are crying out, bleeding and wanting and longing for justice in the system. And so the Bar Association and Minister of National Security, they need to speak up not only when things are affecting them, but they need to speak out more so when it is affecting the underprivileged, those who cannot speak for themselves, and those who need people to champion their cause of justice. That's what they should be doing.
All right, Mr. Simeon, thank you very much. Thank you for your contribution. I always play this song And we deal with matters like this, huh? Who's going to tell the victim's story? 2:12 when we come back, we'll take a break. For words from our sponsors.
I have been lying in restless slumber.
So you see the Bar Association, you've been too silent.
I was a victim, you might remember. A murderous cutlass took away my breath. The trial found him guilty, but he's not been sent to join me. And now they say his life might be saved. Something about Pratt and Morgan, now the hangman cannot function. That's why I'm crying out from my grave. Breaking bed the same way he's killing me. I hear the begging for mercy. I hear the pleading for sympathy.
The same sympathy.
That murderer didn't show me. So now I'm begging to
Mighty Pap.
execute the capital penalty in memory of me and the souls in this victim story. Remember me, the murdered one, me, buried dead and gone, me, cut down in my prime, me, and it's wicked crime. So when the killers cry for mercy, before you go out soft with pity, just remember this victim story. Oh. I am the little school girl named Trisha. I am the watchman on Chosen Road. Or maybe you all may know me better as the battered body of Valerie Lord. I screamed and I cried in anguish as he chopped me like a swordfish, and in my very own blood I choked. Now this vicious, heartless killer wants to write a sympathy letter to save himself from the hangman's rope. Make him pay them, please slay me. I hear they begging for mercy. I hear they pleading for sympathy. The same sympathy that murderer didn't show me. So now I'm begging society, execute the capital penalty in memory of me and the souls in this victim story. Remember me, the murdered one, me, buried dead and gone, me, cut down in my prime, me, and it's wicked crime. So when the killer cries for mercy, before you go and fuck with pity, just remember this victim story.
A big song still relevant today, huh? Just remember me, the victim.
Oh no, oh no. Society cook up a mercy council and Amnesty International is so concerned about the rights and freedom of the murderous criminals. After 5 years in prison, everyone forgets the victims. The prisoner's rights is what make him fame. 1994 was a good one because a killer named Solomon. They set him free and he killed again. Make him pay the same way he slayed me.
Sing along, Dominica.
Begging for mercy. I hear them pleading for sympathy.
The same sympathy.
The same sympathy that murderer didn't show me. So now I'm begging society, execute the capital penalty in memory of me.
In memory of me, the murdered one.
Victim story.
In this case, the murder's one.
The murdered one,
The murdered ones, huh?
cut down in my prime, and it's wicked crime. So when the killer cry for mercy, before you go or suck pity, just remember this victim story.
Welcome back for your phone call. You want one more verse? Let's give it to you.
Society cook up a mercy council and Amnesty International. They're so concerned about the rights and freedom of the murderous criminals. After 5 years in prison, everyone forgets the victims. The prisoner's rights is what make him fame. 1994 was a good one because a killer named Solomon. They set him free and he killed again. Making him say, wait, please blame me. I hear the begging for mercy. I hear the pleading for sympathy.
Same sympathy.
The murderer didn't show me. So now I'm begging society, execute the capital penalty in memory of me and the souls in this victim story. Remember me, the murdered one, buried dead and gone, but I'm in my prime, and it's wicked crime. So when the killer cry for mercy, before you go or suck pity, just remember this victim story.
Oh, you want to say, man?
Gets to travel because we finish. Matt,
Yes, thank you.
another one that go into thing. You know me, I don't live in Dominica first of all. But you see this, it is my concern. I live in Soufriere and I know what Jonathan had done already to the people. Right? You see, if today they grant Jonathan bail or if he get bail, that's gonna be chaos in Soufriere. I promise you, I'm telling you from the bottom of my heart. Man, I don't have to, I can't even talk because
I have been lying in restless slumber.
Dominicans, enjoy your property, protect your property. You homeowner and businessman, protect your property, enjoy your property. Can't wait for the hurricane, can't wait till you flood again, can't wait till your roof fly out and all your business coming out. Remember, no insurance company will insure your property when a storm is approaching. Get ahead of the hurricane season and insure with a company who gives you the assurance of payment for your valid claim. Come speak with us today at the New India Assurance Company Limited, upstairs AC Shillingford and Company Limited, 24 King George Street, Roseau. Bring along an up-to-date valuation from a qualified engineer and get insured today.
I think somebody was asking me on Facebook whether this recording that we heard earlier. Yes, that's a recording. We heard that last week, but we just wanted to put it in perspective based on the comments there by the Dominica Bar Association. Okay, hope you understand right now. Let's take a phone call. Are you there, caller? Sorry about that.
Oh, yeah, Matt, I thought your phone was not working. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon to you, sir.
Yes, as a friend of the court, of course, I don't criticize the court because the court have a right. But then of course, the Bar Association have its right to make a statement. But I personally don't see anything wrong with what Mr. Blackmer said. Because I'll tell you what, just last week in Jamaica, I heard the Minister of National Security condemning the atrocious crime and saying he hoped the court take a dim view of it. And also in Trinidad, I listened to a radio program in the morning, and the Minister of National Security, whenever there's serious crime, they condemn the crimes and they say that they take a dim view of it and they hold the culprits will be brought to justice and and the court take a very serious view. So, and then a lady made a very good point where she said they were calling on the government and the minister to make a point. So now the minister make it. What is wrong about that? He was not criticizing the court. He was just saying in his capacity as minister, he believed that bail should not be granted. Anybody can say that. There's nothing wrong. I think we have a lot of hypocrisy in Dominica. And Simeon made a very good point. I mean, a serious Indian
So you don't think you don't think that the executive can have any influence on the judiciary?
Well, they're not supposed to have an influence. If you have, look at the football that went on the weekend. They said the guy is a referee and he's in the team. The guy have to be very, I was a referee and I refereed the police match versus Potters. I gave the police 7 yellow cards and Potters 1 card. So I was doing a neutral job.
So why do you think the Prime Minister always says, I've heard him many times in this conference, he don't interfere, he doesn't comment on anything that's before the court? Why do you think that he would make a comment like that? Why?
You mean why the minister would make the comment?
Why does the Prime Minister say every time he does not comment on matters before the court?
Well, as the Prime Minister, he has his personal views and his right to say whatever he feels fit. But if a Minister of National Security condemn a heinous crime and there's a likelihood of bail, because as a citizen, I hate crimes so I shouldn't say the people that commit them. And I was wondering why nothing was being said, and then the man came out and he made a strong statement then.
So you think you would have at least the influence to on the judge that you think Mr. Blackmore will have as a Minister of Government? Do you think you can equate the two?
I don't think so.
But do you think you can equate your comment versus the minister's comment? That's my question to you.
Okay, that's just my view. But no, I don't want to comment. The minister is free and independent to make a statement.
All right, caller. Thank you very much. 449-3095-96. Hello. Making comments when it's convenient. Hello, talk to me on the telephone. Yes? Are you there?
Matt,
yes.
I have said it many times. It's a concert. Now listen to this. The police said that there were only 2 complaints against Jonathan. Do you remember that, Matt?
Mm-hmm.
The police came on and made that statement. There were only 2. And there are many people who say that is untrue. Many, many people have complained. But the police are saying there was only 2. And I didn't think they went on to say that one was resolved. Or they were both resolved. I can't, Matt, you might want to get that tape, You might want to get that tape. Now, Matt, here, this case, this application comes before the magistrate or whoever. And what does he say? He's saying that they have not presented evidence. Why haven't they presented the evidence? Because we do not have the forensics, and it's going to take longer. So why isn't someone telling the judiciary that because we don't have the facility, it's going to take a little longer, so please hold on till it all comes in? It seems to me nobody told that to the judiciary, and the judiciary is saying, well, you have the man languishing in jail or whatever they said. Why didn't they tell the judge that we have to send it to wherever, and it's going to take a little longer because we do not have the forensics here? Matt, I can tell you a story, and I may have told it to you before. I went to a meeting before a hurricane one time. And when all the Red Cross and everybody else presented their resources, when the police presented their resources, they said they only had 9 radios. So when I heard that, I said, well, how can the whole police force have only 9 radios? So I jumped up and I said, listen, we should write a letter to the Prime Minister telling the police only have 9 radios. That's nonsense. They need more radios than that. You know what happened? The chief of police, who was the chair of that committee, told the girl who was taking notes, the stenographer, to remove my comment. So I said, well, how you can remove my comment? That's my comment. It should be part of the minutes of the meeting. He ignored me and he told the stenographer, can you take out his comment? And she did. And he said, did you take it out? He said, okay. And then he comes to explain to me why he took out my comments. He said that the Prime Minister will see it as a political attack if he wrote a letter or if the committee wrote a letter saying that the police need more radios. Matt, when I heard that, I felt very despondent. I simply remained mute, and I never went back to one of those meetings, ever. And I was in the capacity of a volunteer to provide emergency communication. Matt, I called a friend of mine in the United States. I told him the story. He was coming down in the next few weeks. He came down. The police had a ceremony, and he donated a bunch of radios to the police. Matt. Roosevelt Skerrit is starving the police. He's been there for 20 years, and we cannot do forensics. And look at it today, what it's getting us into. We cannot get forensics in a timely manner to hold a criminal or an accused person. We cannot get it in a timely manner. Obviously, the court is saying you should have had it by now. And I'm not hearing anybody saying, your magistrate, we need a little more time. Nobody said that. So if you don't present it to the magistrate, what does he do? He accuses you of having the man languish in jail while his health is deteriorating.
All right, again, the comment there from the Dominica Bar Association one more time.
In a statement sent to the media from the Dominica Bar Association on December 2nd, 2024, reads, the Dominica Bar Association reaffirms its commitment to the principles of judicial independence and the rule of law. The DBA exclaims that recent remarks by the Minister of National Security and Legal Affairs regarding the court's approach to the granting of bail to Mr. Jonathan Lehrer is concerning and unfortunate. The minister's remarks conveyed the impression that the court may have not taken the matter with the utmost seriousness or considered the relevant provisions of the Bail Act or other relevant law. While it is not our role to determine or relay to the public whether the court was right or wrong in its final determination, it must be stated that in this case, specific references to the Bail Act and several cases precedents were made by the judge throughout his 24-page judgment, which is publicly available on the website of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court. The judiciary's role is not to appease public sentiment, which is to be differentiated from public interest as defined in the law, but to impartially interpret and apply the law. The DBA calls upon all public officials to uphold the integrity of the legal system by refraining from statements that may be perceived as an attempt to influence or challenge judicial independence. This is essential to maintaining a just and democratic society.
All right, Dominica, the statement there from the Dominica Bar Association. I agree with Simeon, somebody says here, but the statement is right. Let's see if we can get a voice note there.
Why that comment one of your callers made is important, because it gives the world the impression that the gentleman run things, including the judiciary. So we cannot fault the public for thinking that the executive branch of government will interfere with the judiciary. I made a brilliant point. Blackmore said that it was discussed at cabinet level, which means that the Prime Minister would have been involved in the formulation and endorsement of the statement that Blackmore made, the very statement which has caused the Bar Association to come out. So we have to listen carefully, we have to listen very carefully.
Perhaps your grandmother or your mother never tell you, parole à bouche, c'est pas mettre. I tell you, you have to compare action with words. Words doesn't mean a thing unless it's put into action. So you can hear people say what they want to say to look good in the eyes of the public, but you must also check their actions if it matching the words that they have said. Well, let the bar take it blows, because for too many times they have been very silent. They should be more vocal. So if that is their start of being vocal, well, they must continue it. But they have to blame nobody else than themselves for getting blows this afternoon. So, bye-bye, Matt.
All right, do you realize that Mr. Skerritt just saying he's not interfering to look good in the eyes of the public, but he's Mr. Interference of everything?
Body and every association and every institution, everything is silent back home. You cannot blame them because everybody gets selfish and everybody holding on to the little that they can get. That's what, people who put country first back home right now. So even if many persons of intelligence and many persons of grassroots influence speak, it's just like we just talking and everybody just have an opinion and no one want to come together and create a action, so everybody holding on to what they have. Matt, I told you so previously before I left the island. I told you that everything was declining. I told you people don't have the kind of love like they used to have for their neighbors like before. Everybody is selfish. Everybody is greed. It's just greed that plaguing the society right now. So even if we talk about Simeon Joseph, I think, brings some good points. Just like so many other great talkers, everybody call and give opinions, and nothing's been done. And that's been happening for 20 years. So it's just a group is a nation of talk and a nation of no action. Have a blessed day, my brother. But thank you for your service, bro.
All right, brother. Take care now. It's just time. It's 2:34 as we take calls there on the overseas line. Are you there, caller? Caller, are you there? Caller, are you there? A lot of people trying to get in at this time, but anyway.
Matt, good afternoon to you and good afternoon to the Dominican people. Matt, you're saying that the Prime Minister is not interfering, and he says that he is not interfering in anything concerning the law. Really? Matt, don't be fooled. He will not go on any radio station to say anything, but behind the scenes, there's behind the scenes, Matt, and that's what matters. Okay? This guy is working stuff behind the scenes. Don't be fooled. Since when? Come on, Matt. Come on, man. We know better. We know better than that. Roosevelt Skerritt, he knows when to come forward and he knows when to stay back. In matters like this, he's not going to say anything because he is too deeply involved with everybody who is involved. So he will be working behind the scenes. Yeah. This is the time he becomes the wood end. I'm just saying. Have a good day, everybody. Good luck, guys. Good luck with everything. Oh, bye-bye.
Dying a dreadful death. I was a victim, you might remember. A murderous cutlass took away my breath. The trial found him guilty, but he's not been sent to join me. And now they say his life might be saved. Something about Frank and more.
Matt, I'm listening to the pieces of that case you playing there, different opinions on the bail issue and Blackmore, whatnot. But one thing I want to say, Matt, people say, well, there is no basis for public to say what they want or they're trying to throw the case or whatnot. Matt, you got to excuse the people for saying that because they have seen over time when many cases has been neglected, thrown by the wayside based on who the people are. And here you have a man who is very close and uptight with those in power. So from all indication, the people's opinion is warranted if they feel that they want to throw this case because they've seen from experience and they see now how this thing is going. Now, we're talking about ineptitude based on investigation and all the evidence that has to be processed, and it hasn't been forthcoming. So it's always a chance that this case could not go to court. They could end up letting that man go if he's not getting due process in a certain amount of time. Unlike people like Thompson and Mr. Linton who waiting for 7-10 years to get justice. Man, the things look dirty. And what I'm going to say lastly is, if ever that gentleman is put on an airplane to go anywhere, can't no judge, no jury, nobody stop him, no police, no one can stop him from not coming back. And they're talking about he has to honor the extradition. Man, the man could go anywhere. If he decide to give up his U.S. passport, he could try to recoup it. If he don't recoup it, he could go to where there is no extradition treaty. It's many things that's going on in there, and the people's allegation is well warranted. I mean, I can't say anything other than that, man, but I'm listening. Thank you.
I was a victim, you might remember. A bird brush cutlass took away my breath. The trial found him guilty, but he's not in sentence.
Somebody saying that Mr. Skelly should fire Blackmore. Well, just as Blackmore said, his colleagues were in on it, huh? So would have the balls to Mr. Fire, Mr. to fire Blackmore. Somebody else on another WhatsApp says, Matt, the police force of Dominic is rigged and controlled by certain people before them. Imagine a particular lawyer forced an inspector, sergeant, corporal, and constable to no charge some civilians for blocking a road simply because he considered the road to be private. The police walked away from charging one of the civilians for obstruction of traffic. Today, the same lawyer is in court claiming that the road is public.
Just remember this victim story.
Somebody say no. Reminded me of the statement from Mr. Skerritt. I'm still looking for it there. I may have it in the archives, but I have to look. I run things. Remember that statement? The son of Mr. Skerritt absconded the jurisdiction as the PM. Skerritt is teaching us once again how to run things. He has facilitated his son to run away from Dominica to avoid facing the law after Malik was involved in a fatal incident.
I screamed and I cried in anguish as he chopped me like a swordfish. And in my very own blood,
the minister can sing his lucky song and count his lucky stars. His statement was tantamount to contempt of court. He is lucky that the judge didn't hold him in contempt of court and haul him before the court.
please slay me. I hear the begging for mercy. I hear the pleading for sympathy. The same sympathy that murderer didn't show me. So now I'm begging society, execute the capital penalty in memory of me and this whole thing, this victim story. Remember me, the murdered one, me, buried dead and gone, me, cut off in my prime, me, and it's wicked crime. So when the killer cry for mercy, before you go and suffer pity, just remember this victim story.
Theme song for the afternoon. On the telephone 242, are you there?
Matt, you're talking about you cannot find the clip. Why don't you just play the song, the famous World Boss song? It pretty much has the same information in it. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
The international They're so concerned about the right and freedom of the murderous criminals. After 5 years in prison,
Good afternoon, Matt, and good afternoon to all Dominicans. Matt, you would want to think by now we would have covered a major part of the investigations that would, probably bring the case, closer to the courts. But from what I read in the Daily Mail, that the presiding judge over the bail hearing said, apparently, if it continues like that, these two people, these two alleged murderers, are going to walk free. And Matt, why after Dominica has had so much money that the police in Dominica aren't equipped to do proper investigations? Until now, we cannot do no kind of forensic testing. We cannot. And apparently the police in Dominica, they're loving that because this Jonathan Leary is the man. He is a passport seller. So maybe the investigations are going just as fine. They're just happy with the limitations of the investigations because it is actually serving a great purpose where those criminals will walk free to avoid the shit from splattering on the faces of the police and those at the helm of the country who did nothing to have that situation resolved until the heinous killing of these two people. But Matt, I want to ask Rayburn Blackmore, sir, why is it that you prefer to call in? Why don't you come into and sit at a program, maybe with Joshua Francis? Have a discussion. Because I know that, and you know, that Dominicans have myriads of questions that they need answered. So maybe you should come in on a sit-down program. Let us talk. Because this is a conversation that we need to have with our security minister, who seemed to have been very silent. And so this is not the first time they attempted bail on this man, but you said nothing. You said absolutely nothing. So now he has gotten the bail, he has gotten bail. He just has to meet the conditions. And then we are hearing about how unhappy you are. How unhappy you are. But if you are serious about your unhappiness, maybe from the get-go, you should have brought in the Canada Security Investigation Services to assist with the investigations, because you know that Dominica is limited in their capacity, both in knowledge and equipment, to investigate a crime like that. And you could have made it better because the two accused murderers are also Americans. So you could request that the FBI come in to assist with the investigations. So then we would have had a very unbiased investigation. And they would produce the results to the judge. This would have sped up things if you're really concerned about getting justice for the Canadians who died at the hands of those alleged murderers. And not only the Canadians who need justice in that situation, Dominicans too, because these two people, they were in Dominica for so many years, contributing to the economy, contributing to employing Dominicans. They contributed to building schools, they helped the nation building to the point that they qualified to be recipients of Dominica's highest award. And now this? And are we to believe that you're really serious about investigating that crime and getting redress to that situation? I have a hard time believing that. It is left to be seen. Justice needs to be seen. We need to see that you all are serious about the investigations and serious about bringing that matter to court and serious about getting justice for these two people who lost their lives on Dominica.
I am the little student named Trisha. I am the watchman on Chosen Road. Or maybe you all may know me better as the battered body of Valerie Lord. I screamed and I cried in anguish as he chopped me like a swordfish, and in my very own blood I choked. Now this vicious, heartless killer wants to write a sympathy letter to save himself from the hangman's rope. Make him pay the same way, please slay me. I hear they begging for mercy. I hear they pleading for sympathy. The same sympathy that murderer didn't show me. So now I'm begging society, execute the capital penalty in memory of me and the souls in this victim story. Remember me, the murder's one, me, buried dead and gone, me, cut off in my prime, me, and it's wicked crime. So when the killer cry for mercy, before you go and suffer pity, just remember.
We continue here on the Talk of the Block. Dominica's was talked about program in the afternoon. If it's on the block, we'll talk about it. Good afternoon to you on the telephone, sir. Yes?
Mark, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
Man, I've not been doing much listening because I've been a little busy those days. But as I drive in, I can sense there was a conversation in Blackmore or whatever. But my view is, Matt, why would Blackmore be running his mouth and talk about there should not be bail? When in fact he should be equipping the prosecution in such a way that they should be able to stand up. Why would Blackmore talk about the case as if he has so much of an interest? When for a murder in a police station, he brought in impacts. They have brought in people from overseas several times. The Canadian police were prepared to assist them, Matt. You hear me, Matt?
Mm-hmm.
They brought in police officers to help. Is it because they were trying to go at a particular police officer? Is it because their intention was to destroy a police officer who they feel threatened by? You understand what I'm saying, Matt?
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't Blackmore, when he was needed, can you imagine? I understand the judge is saying that he waiting on ballistic results or whatever test. But that is ABC stuff that should have been done, that has been done many, many times in Dominica. So was it intentional? Is there something happening, Matt? What I'm saying, Matt, we have to be careful because we have the judge, it was rumored around that the judge said that if he was giving bail, it would be in the sum of $10 million or more. What has happened? Why has he departed from that and gone to 1 million other conditions that cannot be even attempted to be enforced, man? You understand what I'm saying, man?
Mm-hmm.
But what is going to happen by the defense later is come to court and try to vary the bail. But in fact, man, I believe the prosecution and the Minister of National Security, he should be beefing up his prosecution to be able to move to block bail, to revoke the bail, based on the weakness of the judgment, man. There's enough loophole in that judgment to be able to even go now and withdraw the bail, man. So we hear Blackmore talking, man. It's just a show. I understand a high-profile person from Antigua, man, says to me that he heard Tony and Stephens bragging in a forum that the guy must get bail and he should get bail. Who knows if Tony not going to be defending him in the background, man? You know what I'm saying? So this guy, we know this system is out to set him free. As they always say, who die wrong? These guys behave like French people. Dead man carry no tails. They forget the contribution that this man was making to the people of Skopje, Sufuya, and Zion, and to Dominica, by extension, man. So when you hear people coming out there and talk, trying to give impression, what they should do, they're not doing at all, man. There's a lot they could have done. They could have called for assistance from the Canadians, which were ready to assist them. But in fact, they didn't. When the other murder happened, or the other guy died in police cells, they got impact, they got foreign, they got several assistance from outside, man. That is just sad. The National Security Minister must do more action than talk. Okay, he must stop controlling the police force and get the police training. Instead of controlling them and having them jump in, when it's here to jump, running after demonstrators, sit and tear gassing people for no reason. He should give them training, man. All right?
Thank you.
Training the police officers, giving them the equipment they need, and getting the foreign assistance when absolutely necessary. I'm not saying it was necessary before. I'm saying if it was necessary then, why not necessary now?
All right, get your point there. Thank you.
Something about Brand and Morgan. Now the hangman cannot function. That's why I'm crying out from my grave. Making pain the same way. Please save me. I hear the begging from
Somebody saying that Mr. Blackmore should have intervened since the time of the Minister of Tourism. If he did, his statement would have made relevance now.
So now I'm begging society, execute the capital penalty in memory of me and the souls in this victim story. Remember me, the murdered one, me, buried dead and gone.
Coming close, very close to a wrap on this program here.
To you and good afternoon. My party, as I'm listening to your discussion on the statements of Black Association as it relates to the bail application for Jonathan Leroy.
For some reason, your voice note is not too. A little crack there. You might want to set it again sometime, maybe for tomorrow. But it's very, very low. Sorry, Mr. Lennon Matthew. On the telephone, 255, talk to me, yes?
Yes, Matt. Matt, you know a problem with Blackmore and his statement and his story and everything, Matt?
You do?
Matt, that thing has been going on there for a while, that story, right? Especially with bail seeking for the man. He went the first time and bail was denied. Why did Mr. Blackmore make the authorities and whoever the relevant authorities that have to deal with the case, make them know there and then that man, they shouldn't be getting bail. Because then the bail, they were just not deserving that bail, man. That crime was too brutal in his own words for them people to be getting bail. He should have said that from there. It's not after for it to come crying crocodile tears with all the hypocrisy they have inside of that place, man. That is just nonsense. Too much things going on there. After they get away with it, or they're trying to get away with it, then they will come with crying crocodile tears and all the hypocrisy. Blackmore know well what was happening. Blackmore should step up his plate. It's not after the fact, man. We fed up with that nonsense in that country. People, you can do better. Do better. Stop letting people give all you blows when all you know what all you have to do. Oh, Lord, not that. I don't know, nah. We're in a serious situation in that country. So Mighty Pep for me, please.
All right. Well, here's Mighty Pep again.
Mercy Council and Amnesty International is so concerned about the rights and freedom.
Somebody's suggesting here, Matt Maslin is right. And the accused lawyer is the Prime Minister's lawyer. More perceived connections between the executive and the accused, and fear the DLP government is interfering in Harris' case.
1994 was a good one because I killed named Solomon. We set him free.
Blackmore is just a pretender. Another WhatsApp message.
Making pain the way he played me. I hear the begging for mercy. I hear the pleading for sympathy.
Blackmore is playing games.
even show me.
They are all in this together.
So now I'm begging society.
Dennis was on radio in recent times stating that Jonathan was the instigator, the troublemaker. Why didn't the black man intervene then? We have 3 more minutes to go before Flo Dominica. Hello, talk to me, yes? Hello.
Matt, we've heard the politicians refer to the Dominican people as intelligent. Yeah, when they want your vote, you're intelligent. But when they have their agenda, they treat you like a kunu munu. Matt, in the first bail application, who stood shortly for Jonathan Lira? Who put up their house for Jonathan Lira? What was that position? Who put up their house as shorty for Jonathan Lira? Think about that, Matt. If you care to elaborate, please do. Thank you.
I suspect you're asking me a question you already have the answer to.
After 5 years in prison, everyone forget the victims. The prisoner's rights is what make him fame. 1994 was a good one. He was a killer named Solomon. They set him free and he killed again. Make him pay the same way he played me. I hear the begging for mercy. I hear the pleading for sympathy.
And somebody's just reminded me that the judgment never touched on the most important part, the flight risk, huh?
So now I'm begging society, execute the capital.
The judge never commented on that statement there, or one of the conditions, the flight risk. And he gave 15 conditions. And this is one of the most crucial. Why did he not comment on the flight risk?
Just remember this victim story.
We have 30 seconds. Are you there? Yes? Uh-huh.
Yes, Matt.
Yes, ma'am.
Can I urge Mr. Lawrence, the attorney for this gentleman, to make me happy, and his payment should be the full transfer of the property of Bois Cotlet to his name as his fees. Mr. Lawrence, ensure that you get the full of Bois Cotlet as your own. Transfer the full property to your name for your payment. You're not working for free, you know, sir. You're not working for no $1 million. Show the public that you're not no little boy. Take care, my brother.
Hi, Peter Karam. 3 o'clock is the afternoon time. Next year, Dominica Flo will come back tomorrow for more. It's a victim story. If you're looking for that song, it's called The Victim Story by Mighty Pep out of St. Lucia, PEP, Mighty Pep. Victim Story, that's the name of the song.
So now I'm begging society, execute the capital penalty. In memory of me and the souls in this victim story.
I'm just hearing there. Mr. Father Martin may have passed for deepest sympathies.
So when the killer cry for mercy, before you go out fuck.
It's the news I'm just getting on the sad note that Father Martin may have passed, huh? God bless you. On behalf of that parish, I say deepest sympathies to your family and friend. You in a better place? All right, time for Flo.
A chance to win weekly prizes and up to $10,000 cash. Head over to your nearest Flow store or visit discoverflow.co. Flow, we Christmasing. It's with Flow.
Okay, Max, if I'm going to steal Christmas this year, I'll need a smart TV to keep an eye on the who's, a smartphone to call for backup cash, and a stove to bake this ham. Seriously, I can get all this for free if I sign up for Flow.
We're Christmasing with thousands of gifts even the Grinch would love. Sign up for a postpaid mobile bundle or high-speed broadband and win big every week. Visit discoverflow.co now.
Flo ni en magasin neuf à Sioul. Iwive eve power pour mener service bao. Nous te promettons innovation eve nous ka délivrer à présent. Boutique Flo à Sioul. Power pour mener bao bon qualité service eve produit ou sa taper à plus gros magasin Flo. Si vous voulez gagner un portable neuf ou registrer pour un service neuf, fait en plainte, ou bien payer en bill, ou bien simplement mal en chection, ou ça fait tout ça. Côté magasin Flo à Sioul. Comme ça, les ouè magasin Flo à Sioul en communauté ou bien en laubia, pas paix. Vini pour quitter travailler Flo ba au bon service professionnel. Magasin Flo à Sioul. N'importe place, n'importe l'air. Ka vini en pala pour tout. Flo ka vini tout de suite. A dans en l'occasion tout poué.
The new Flow Store on Wheels is here and ready to serve you. We promised you innovation and we have delivered. The Flow Store on Wheels is equipped to provide all the great products and services available at our Flow Experience Center. If you want to purchase the latest smartphones, sign up for a new service, log a fault, pay a bill, or simply make an inquiry, you can do it all at our Flow Store on Wheels. Now that's what you call full service on wheels. So when you see our Flow Store on Wheels in your community or on your street, don't be shy. Stop by and let our professional team serve you. The new Flow Store on Wheels, convenience and reliability at your doorstep. Coming soon to a location near you.
You an easy way to pay.
You asked for it and you got it. A quicker way to pay your bills online. It's fast, secure, and easy to use. No registration, no additional fees. Flow is now offering FastPay, an online service that allows you to settle your bills in less than 2 minutes. Need a receipt? FastPay will send it to your email immediately. Use FastPay now for convenience, safety, and efficiency at discoverflow.co/fastpay.
Then you're on your way.
Flow is keeping you connected.
Here's a fun fact. In just 29 seconds, you can say goodbye to paper bills forever. Seriously, in 29 seconds. That's less time than this ad. Head over to discoverflow.co or visit us in-store and update your contact information now. By October 1st, your bills will be digital, easy to access, secure.